communities in difficult times. Before we get started, I just want to remind everyone that we are recording this session for later replay. For those of you wanting to enable English or Spanish translation, please find that in the lower right hand of your taskbar. And with that, I'm going to hand it over to our presenters. Thank you.
Can we share the slideshow, please?
Good afternoon, hand on hand, connecting with our communities in difficult times. Good afternoon, everyone. The Committee of Human Rights of Forks and Mutual Help of Skagit make this collaboration as part of all of our work in both places, in a lot of distance without knowing each other, but having a lot of difficulties. So go ahead, please. Hi, my name is Leslie Lee. I am part of Human Rights Forks group. We are 6 women that are volunteer. Next, please. Let me give you a little bit of this history of our group. In 2008, the activity of the Frontier Patrol increased a lot. It was in everywhere, in the way, in the court, in the different areas, and they got to the houses in the communities. Had a lot of fear because people were missing because of the patrol. So in 2009, we were together helping. We decided to create a group and place a name to have more attention on it, give more attention on it for the activity of the patrol. So we documented this for years. There weren't a lot of changes. In 2018, 2011, a person from our community died because of one of the forest patrol police. They had a lot of collaboration with the Frontier Patrol and our local police. So after this tragedy, the woman that survived placed a formal claim against the forestry services because of racial discrimination and a person in Forks. It was the first time that they told us that we were right. We continued documenting everything, and with the support of the immigrants and the lawyers, immigrant association and the lawyers, we placed a claim against the patrol because of all of the stops on our way, and we also won that. Also, we were working with the report of students of the University of Seattle. They documented the everything. They used these documents to show the pattern of abuse and practices that the patrols used in our communities. After this, we continued documenting the activities of the patrol in the populations. Next, please. Meanwhile, we are still working with the community, doing a lot of workshops to inform about the rights, sometimes with lawyers, with different consultations in different areas or groups like us, like the Association of Friends and others, to be able to have this kind of leadership, this collaboration that we did. It was done to be able to see if we can change the system, not to only see the services, because if we only do services, then we don't change the problem that we're facing. Also, we participate in some protests when we can. We sometimes do some food for the funds for the trips, and we continue working with the community. But when the pandemics appeared, started, we had to stop the work and focus on helping the community to survive. And that's how we got there. Next, please. Good afternoon. My name is Deli, and as you can see in the screen, it says why. A question that is a little bit long, but I'm gonna try to be brief because the reason of why as immigrants we live from our jobs, from our performance and the performance that we put in our jobs, and it gives us to be able to live on a daily basis with a minimum wage that with which COVID-19 complicated the economical stability of our families. Also, another reason of why is because the need and this support started bringing the problems, the real problems, and we live in a community that is small. We know each other, we know everyone. So to justify a little bit the work that is done in our county is the cutoff of the asalal, a silver product, to used. And this the pandemic really made us everything very hard because the companies closed and the companies didn't have enough job. So there is where we had a need to be able to find other resources, but those resources were not available for us because as immigrants we do not have the requirements to make us eligible to other types of governmental agencies or any other type of unemployment program, right? So, another reason for which we say the why is because the job that we perform is unfortunately something that we do not get more paid more. We don't have health insurance and we don't have paid vacations, time off. No, companies are not gonna say that. And unfortunately, the type of job that we do in this county is not recognized nationally or internationally. In another sense, also the concern of GoFundMe. We created GoFundMe page where we wanted to collect some funds to be able to support our community, and we thank everyone because the groups really participated. We were offering our jobs and to continue with our project. A lot of the organizations or companies gave us a lot of money. So next, please. The organizations that helped us and they economically and with foods, the pandemics has been very complicated, a situation very complicated for us, more in this small community. So we have to continue, and as volunteers that we are in this group, we will continue with the mutual help and the solidarity network that we have created with other communities as that we have as a goal. I only wanted to thank you for this space. Yanis, please go ahead. Hi, good afternoon. My name is Sofia. One of the ways to help the community was with food and cleaning product pantries, and with the organizations that with the help of the organizations that gave us and supported us with fruits and vegetables, and we as a group bought cleaning products, and with the funds that we raised, did this, and the food basket is the best way to get to all of the community, because there's a big high need in the Latin community, and that's where they feel more, they trust us more, and they don't feel as comfortable with other people because of the language and the lack of empathy and understanding about their situation. Next one, please. As you can see, some examples of the basic food baskets from fruits, vegetables, and grains. And we also included baby products as diapers, shampoo, wipes, and other things, because we saw that it was one of the first needs of the families with small children. And we also distributed masks for grown for adults and for children. Next one, please. We have the collaboration of the organizations that helped with land with dirt and plants, so the community would create their own gardens of vegetables. We also had a program of coupons to be able to buy in the local stores and to ensure that we can cover other needs from our community. Thank you. Next one, please. Good afternoon. My name is Guadalupe, and I will talk a little bit about the vaccines. I want to say that in the process of vaccination, we have been involved to help and to inform the community, because there was a lot of fear, and they didn't trust what was happening. So, as it always happens when there's something new and unknown, and as the information that wasn't enough for what we had to inform the community, giving pamphlets, answering phone calls, going to one house, to all of the houses, and to inform and to answer questions if they wanted to receive the test, and if they knew that they were positive or negative, because we had uh, a lot of people that got the the COVID, the disease. So when we had the vaccines, then we informed the communities, um, by we did it on pamphlets, and also we did a video in collaboration with Dr. Berry from Clalland County in English, MAM, and Spanish, for the community to have more information, to be more informed about the COVID vaccines, and to stop the transmission of the COVID. And also, when we had the vaccines, we started informing more the community, so that they would trust more and go get vaccinated. And last but not least, I would want to say that there's uncertainty, and they don't trust a lot the vaccines and the COVID-19. We also contacted Department of Health, and with the new variant or the new strain of COVID-19, they have contacted us again to let us know how to manage the new strain and the new outburst of COVID-19. We have been working, supporting the community. Thank you very much. Next one, please. Hello, good afternoon. My name is Susana Garcia. We, as volunteers, have helped the community with other resources like information when we were not able to inform them, to help them with resources. There were organizations that contacted the community group, that if they needed help, then they could request it from them. And also, we shared and we gave information about the fund for the relief fund, the Washington Immigrant Relief Fund. It was hard, not because we didn't have internet and a space, but also we informed the community that if they needed help, they could request it with OLICAP, and also they if they had a social security number, they could request uh, unemployment insurance, but it was a process that was long and hard. So that's how we help the community. Thank you very much. Next one, please. Hello, good afternoon. My name is Elizabeth. In the process, we have had some successes and some challenges. One of our successes was to create a page that is called GoFundMe. The pantry's collaboration with the health department and Dr. Alison Berry, the support solidarity with other community groups. And my peer is gonna tell you so about the challenges that we have had. We have had some challenges also, and these are some of them. Resources are not accessible, or lack of resources, lack of information and interpretation in appropriate languages, too much paperwork and bureaucracy, uh, need for technology, rural community, and distance, and not having our stable place to be able to work. And last but not least, having enough time, because we all have families, and also we work, and we it's hard for us, but at the end we organize and we are able to get the work done and the projects that we are working on. Thank you very much. Next one. Good afternoon. We are Skagit Group, a mutual solidarity help, mutual aid solidarity of Skagit. We are with you this afternoon, and we are in the other side of where we the forks have been people have been working. Uh, we are going to show you the information of the group together with our peers from left to right. We have Isabel, Rocio, Imelda, and I'm Rufina. So go ahead. Good afternoon. The Solidarity Aid, Mutual Aid and Solidarity appeared in 2020 as a group, or OGNA, a group of action to inform the rights of the immigrants in the framework of the program of safe communities of the Obama administration in 2016. Next one, please. Thank you. The workshops of getting to know their rights and a secure family as who we are as immigrants. These are examples of what we have done throughout the years. These are the information that we have been giving and the oppression that we had for the people that were deported when we went to work. So that's why we did these workshops. Next one, please. We were advocating for advocating and working for our community and our families, Latin community, advocating and working for the Latin community and our families. By volunteer neighbors, we recorded a news show in Spanish, started in September 7, 2008, in County of Skagit. No News Skagit. Then in 2011, it became Better, Alive, Echoes of the Community, 2011 to 2019. We were blocked by the new administration in the era of Trump. We also organized the uh, the workshops for parents, and we had also environmental workshops. Next one, please. We can go to the next slideshow, please. Thank you. The conferences for parents advocating and preparing for a better education for the Latino youth in Skagit. We have here a few pictures of the workshops that we have been doing for our children before the pandemic came to our world. We have been preparing the parents so that they would be the voice in the education of their own children and improving also the new clubs after school. Next one, please. In the next slide, we are seeing some of the clubs that we have created in the community in which, as mothers, we have been involved to improve them and also to give our own support. This has been our introduction of how we have been working in the community. Next one, please. We have been having constant communication with this school district to advocate for the education of our Latin children and improve the school clubs. We have had the collaboration with other agencies in the communities and other groups and organizations. That's the case of the help of the Suma people when they had to leave their work without any amount of money. We went as group and we recollected money. We gave them food and water for all the people that were there. So we also we went on a van and we had other organizations that have helped us in our work. Next one, please. We have also formed demonstrations of what would be a day without immigrants. As you can see in the pictures, we have had protests, we have had support from different organizations and companies to show our inconformity of how we have been treated throughout all of these years. In February 16th, more than 2,000 children did not go to schools of the district and the county of Skagit because of the collaboration of of a lot of parents that, as like us, have been advocating for our rights. Next one, please. How did Mutual Help Solidarity of Skagit came about? We collected food to form these food baskets for the community. We had the concern that when we heard from the State Department of Washington in their first meetings of Zoom that the Latinos have 8% more possibility of being diagnosed and 7 more percent of probability to be hospitalized and 3% more of dying from COVID-19 than any other group of the people in the state of Washington. Yeah, in our community, three of five families from our communities, one of their members got the disease and they had problems with food, cleaning products, and that's why we gave them this. That is how this Mutual Help Solidarity of Skagit came about. We feel that our families were not helped from the medical help and the community services for different agencies on the state and federal ways in 2020. Next one, please. Okay, so the next one. So we see here pictures of our work. the food baskets that we gave last year until we got to Christmas, where we gave a lot of families through these food baskets some presents from organizations or companies that gave us, and obviously there was not a lot of families that we gave presents compared to the need that we had. So that is why we gave this to the more needed people. As you can see, the people that lived in the trailers were the ones chosen to be able to deliver some presents, and the people that lived in apartments, then we chose to give them food and these food baskets. Next one, please. Here we are seeing the work and the job done on those months. Next, please. Next one, please. And finally, after the Christmas, uh, after Christmas, we collected more fundings for all of our communities. We have been collaborating with the mothers and fathers to to see that our neighbors would be benefited in their communities. Thank you very much. So next one, please. In this case, we started collecting and distributing PFE, that are protection equipment, where we had gel, masks, and also the COVID kit that we have been delivering. And as you can see in the picture, we also have had the the opportunity to be supported with the the with the clothes for the people that have the disease. That's where our parents have had the opportunities, and that's where we have solidarity and a lot of heart for these activities. Next one, please. It has been an honor to work with all of these organizations, because it has been an honor working with all of these organizations, because all of them and our mutual aid group work together for the community, with solidarity, equity, and justice, for all of it, for all of the human beings. The food baskets were given through from June to 2020 to January 2021, with the help of Seattle and the deliveries of coupons in April 2021, with vouchers and cards for foods in the local stores, Latin stores, because of Latin food, and Lea Traco, MMPL for Food Love Line, and Ever Rivera, coordinator of Skaglet and Welcome. Also, for this, we had a fixed place, because of Catholic Community House Service and their coordinators of social services, Yesenia Gámez Lapa, and the support of solidarity groups, like Ever is No Homish Country, donating, Mark Bridget from Seattle, collaborating with the Solidarity Network with Washington, and for immigrants, Fund Aid for Immigrants, Food Line for Seattle, to combat the inequity and the problems. North Sounds, ACH, Bellington, Waltham, for their support in the most hard times, and for the donations of the protection equipment for our community in the state of Washington. We were inclusive with our LGBTQ community. Philanthropy Northwest and the Coalition of Health Workers for Migrants and Refugees of Washington, and the Executive Director Ileana Maria Ponce Gonzalez for bringing immunization, finance help, and health workshops immediately to us as a community volunteers and prevent further infection between us. In addition to the support of a grant from Philanthropy Northwest to continue our work.
Well, we have been able to provide with all this success thanks to the collaboration of all these organizations. We also have a sponsorship with the Latina stores. And in this case, you can see all of them that are on the screen. Those are all neighbors that are in action, all the parents. We have been going door to door providing this sponsorship vouchers and gift cards in which we have been working in these past months. Next, please. The most recent administration made everything much more bureaucratic than in the past. In this new administration, our color communities and LGBTQ communities have a struggle frequently because of all the language barriers, technology, language, and lack of information and access to all medical and assistance, mainly for COVID. For LGBTQ community, we have been quite inclusive because we have been communicating with them, we have been calling them to cover some of the needs that they might have. Next, if you please. Here you have a photo exhibit, and we are showing one of the brochures that we received from another community where they were creating those textile masks because we could not obtain any masks at the stores. They were completely run out of them, and since we are near the border, we are far away from large cities, so those disinfectants were not available to us. So the people that you see on the screen on those pictures have been contributing with this mask and hygiene products. Next, if you please. Next slide. Pictures show how we are working with Assistance Fund in order to we are having a connection problem. Please be patient. We were directly in charge to receive all applications. During this event, we hosted 200 families, but we ended up by giving the benefit to over 400 families of around $1,000. Thanks to the support, YFID, it is the Solidarity Network for the state of Washington. Next slide, please. Vaccination and its promotion. Okay, here we are seeing our colleagues that went all the way to Seattle to get their shot. We also went to Bellingham and we were promoting the vaccination and the sites where they would be available. Next, if you please. Next slide. Here we continue with our vaccination campaign. We distribute to the businesses and not only to our neighborhoods and neighbors, but also to businesses. We devoted some of our campaign days to make some advertising with these stickers that were provided to us by the Health Workers Coalition and Doctora Ponce, who kindly assisted us to obtain the shots, primarily for the members of our group, where elsewhere we were denied to have it because we were not considered within the same health professionals, because we were volunteers, but we are also exposed as volunteers. Next slide, please. Challenges. Resources are not available for community-based groups. Lack of information and interpretation into the appropriate language in diverse offices or companies that give us important services such as PSE, DHSS services, court services, and legal systems is gadget because there's too much paperwork and bureaucracy in those places. Another of the challenges is the need to have technology for everybody. Among rural communities, they don't have many programs or services that are available in large cities, and distance plays a very important role in this challenge. Not having enough time in order to be able to work. We don't have enough time because we work, and in addition to that, we have to take care of our family and we have to take care of our community. Our group of volunteers has been exposed several times to the spread of COVID-19 virus because we were distributing to several families, as we have said, without knowing if they were positive or not. The State Department last year, with a previous administration, exposed many residents of the United States to death. And they did not brought programs for health workers, much less to us that were volunteers. So we were rejected when we wanted to have the vaccine available to us in our counties. Next slide, if you please. Here we have a demand list from human rights and mutual aid solidarity. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Thank you. Please, for colleagues, you have the floor. Well, first of all, we want to thank the opportunity and the space in order to express for ourselves during this forum. As Rufina has mentioned, it is a work carried out by both groups. And we will really appreciate it if it was taken into account. We have to have more empathy with the most vulnerable communities when receiving services from different agencies. That those services would be more accessible, take into account the needs of the community. To lead together with the community. Now, Skagit, if you want to continue, please. Do outreach with the immigrants community and ensure equality in resources. For example, with unemployment, the healthcare system, in-person interpreters, especially in indigenous languages, and more access in the Department of Licensing. Find better, more functional and accessible ways to communicate and work so that the processes to receiving help from any agency won't take so long. Agencies must find and create a way to pay all workers and volunteers who provide goods or services. Such as Provesa. This last demand is for us as groups. We need your assistance as organizers because you have provided us with this space, which we are so thankful for doing so, and the public that are looking at us. We also request to them, as well as we request to you, to make legal workshops in Skagit and Forks. Our community has a barrier to have legal access, and mainly in criminality, civil, and justice administration. Us, immigrants, we need to have this legal workshop. There's no organization that can help us with this in these areas. This last demand is that because of that lack of legal services in both places for over 3 years, we have not had access to free legal workshops, to have advisory from lawyers. We need to have consultancy on civil, criminal, assistance on a divorce or marriage, because those are the things in which we are quite vulnerable when a marriage is fighting for children custody or sexual harassment. Because all legal services are so expensive, around $250 or more. And at this moment in time, many of our families don't have that kind of money to pay. We ask for your commitment to us as a community, and we have stated to this large example, like the death of one of our workers in La Hoja de Salan that happened, and that Leslie has already mentioned it, one of our colleagues from Forks. Civil rights were stepped on, were crushed when migration services were after him. Then we saw on the media that he had just slipped. He fell into a cascade and then he died. Then we have a Latino boy that was beaten up. He was in high school, and that occurred in Skagit. And the word racist was drawing in his face. They crushed his skull, and he was completely unconscious. And when he woke up, he didn't know who he was. He didn't know how to talk. He didn't know how to eat, and he had to learn everything again. That is the kind of abuses that we can observe in our community. So we kindly ask of you this mutual aid solidarity of Skagit and for human rights. Here you have our email, and this is our email if you want to write it down. And our colleague will show you her email. Here you have Leslie email. These are our emails where you can communicate with us any kind of information that you would like. Thank you for all of you that are hearing us. If you have any questions, we will be open a Q&A session with our sponsors. Thank you so much for listening to us. Thank you, Rufina. I just would like to add something. because you have said everything so well. We have been lucky to hold some legal experts but we need more. But I think that we are so isolated, we are so far apart. They send the newest lawyers, but we need those that have years of experience because we face very tough cases. So I know they're well intended, they have a great heart, but they don't have the experience. So we do need a little bit more of commitment, and we need a person with much more expertise in order to provide more people with their assistance. Thank you so much. And now we are open to all of your questions. I will give the floor to Sofia now. We need lawyers with experience so they can support us here in Folk, and more in number. We need more lawyers. I wanted to add that we want to see facts, not only words or recorded on video. We want to see that we can solve the existing problems in our community, because we are human beings that have a worth. So we really need to see facts on their behalf towards our community. And I don't know if Skagit would like to give their opinion. Yes, we want to add to that demand that the lawyers that will be coming here, as one of our colleagues from Fork said, come, but they should have to cover in different areas, on migration, on civil, and criminal, whereas we as immigrants, we do not know about those laws, and we are vulnerable. We are too vulnerable, and often so the same lawyers can obstruct or establish the barriers, because they know if they put barriers, they will take longer, and therefore their bill will be higher. So we have to pay more. So our community doesn't have that 100% support by the courts. At the courts, we have oppressive and racist services, because it's not the same justice that they give to a white person, that the justice that a Latino person would be looking for. We want justice to be equal for Afro-American or Black people. That's Black Lives Matter. We will always be supporting them, because we also ask for more justice for our immigrants, and that is why we are asking for lawyers to come and assist our communities. Colleagues, well, I would like to add that if there were a will to come to inform us all, this would not only be words, as our colleagues from Forks have said. We want results, not only come and hear us and yes, okay, well, let's take a look at this, or we will be doing that, and that's it. Only words and no results are provided. And the same thing occurs once and over again, and we are still muted. Can we add something else about the mutual support system? Do you remember what we said? What we need is to be working on the system. We believe that we are doing the work of organizations 163 that receive the money. The money should be providing relief to the community. We are doing the work, we are interpreting, we are filling out all those applications, we are contacting them, we are advising them how to make a phone call or what they have to do, all this paperwork. So this system has to change, and they have to take into account the community. So we don't have to be doing all that work that the rest of the community is not doing. I don't know if there is any other question. Shanti? That a list of demands would be taken into account, be heard of, and receive the necessary support, that the services and assistance would be much more accessible to the community, and they can find facility to have access to information wherever help is needed under all circumstances, and less bureaucracy on the processes. Less bureaucracy is that what we would be aiming for migrants, because often so workers may be ill. If they don't have a document, they will always be a barrier to receive you on a health service. Or they need to receive some money to survive while they are ill. Two would be medicine or a doctor that will be accessible for them, low cost. We don't have that. Our communities lack of a social security when you don't have an official formal job, when you don't have access to that social services. So our community is still vulnerable. That's how we see things, and that's what happens. Our community is still vulnerable, legal, medical, health, on the knowledge of their labor rights and migration rights. We thank very much the access that you have provided to us, we are simple volunteers of our community, and we have been working and we have been organizing ourselves in order to provide these resources in a better and faster way. We thank all the groups that have been supporting us throughout all these difficult times of the pandemic. We are working with other groups to obtain more vaccines due to this third wave of the variant that is affecting so much our communities. we thank all the organizations because they have opened their doors. Maybe for some, we are farmers or cleaning ladies, or because among us we do house cleaning jobs, but they forget that we have left during all this time our American dreams. They have become nightmares. But even though we continue, even if we are ill, we continue. And many of us have overcome COVID, and we still have hope. As Mahatma Gandhi would say, we are doing the change in our communities because that's the change that we want to see, a positive change without stereotypes, because we want to live a better world for our own Latin communities and be our children for farmers, from restaurant workers, become professionals and become the support of these immigrant communities. Thank you so much. And a last comment, it would seem that there are no more questions. We are so thankful for the support received, but we would like for the future to look better ways to support us, because we are okay because we have a family, we have a job. But when assistance comes, we run and run and run because we cannot do anything else, because all of these things are temporary, they are not long-lasting. So I would like to start thinking, how can we create a space? And we are assessing in a way of make it permanent, so we don't have to just rush and run, see how we are going to be collaborating when something occurs. We are trying to find out if we can have permanent assistance, and if you could help us in any way, that would be great. Thank you.
Thank you all for your presentation. I wanted to read out some of the comments. There's a lot of appreciation and thanks in the comments. The impact you're making is incredible. Thank you for taking the time to share with us what you have been doing. Thank you for being so honest and contributing so much to our community. So with that, thank you for your presentation. We'll conclude for this afternoon. Take care, everyone.
Gracias. Igualmente. Gracias.